Is your daddy dead?
L'ángel de la muerte.
Overlord is that.
Tex? Are you okay? Sit up for a minute in the camera.
I know you're a strong woman, Chelsea, but even you've got your limits.
Quit stalling. I want to see the real you.
Okay. Hope you got your smelling salts handy.
Ooh, scary. You know, my brother had a mask just like that he wore to all the Halloween parties. He always won a prize.
Yeah? Well, after a hot bath, an apricot facial, and a little makeup, you're gonna be eating your heart out there, darling.
You probably forgot, but our date starts in exactly 12 minutes. Lucky for you, there is a 1-hour grace period.
Thanks, Chelsea. You're the only one who really understands me. So what are we doing tonight?
It's a surprise.
Well, it's not a formal surprise, is it? Because my tux, it's at the dry cleaners.
No monkey suit required.
All right. Well, I sure hope it's bowling, because I just got my ball waxed.
No, we're not going to the 10-Pin Palace, and we're not having chili dogs either. Now don't go back to sleep. Make yourself beautiful as quick as you can and zip on over here. I'll be waiting.
Sorry I'm late.
Well, at least you're here. Come on in, let me take your hat and your coat.
You know, in this light, you kind of look like a princess.
Well, thank you. So which one of the dwarves do I have with me tonight? Happy, grumpy, or dopey?
Sleepy, actually. But hey, I'll tell you what. I put on a fresh shirt. I'm wearing the tie you asked me to wear. Get a couple of drinks for me. I'm gonna perk right up, okay?
Well, you look like you've been working hard.
Oh, man, I'm exhausted. It's just that I can't seem to get a decent night's sleep.
You still having those nightmares?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I think if you kept a little bit more normal hours and you ate a decent meal every now and again, you might look and feel a lot better. And that's why we have an 8 o'clock reservation at the Golden Pagoda.
Well, since you got to pick the restaurant, maybe I could be in charge of the early evening entertainment. Because if we...
Tex, honey, listen. I don't want you to think that I'm not interested. I am. It's just that I think that we have some things that we really need to discuss first.
Such as?
I just think it would be nice if our relationship could go further.
What, like, all the way to second base?
Oh. No. All I'm talking about is the ability to commit to something that has the potential to make us both very happy.
It's about Sylvia, isn't it?
No, and it's not about marriage. It's about that one thing that prevents us from being close.
What does Sylvia have to do with you and me?
You tell me.
Okay. If you really want to know, I'll tell you. But keep in mind that 6 years ago, I was pretty much an idiot. Colonel had just fired me from his detective agency because I thought everything had to be done by the book. Literally. Well, being the naive optimist that I was, I decided to go into business for myself and become a big success. As it turned out, I was about to learn some even harder lessons. There I was in my shiny new office with all the trimmings, up to my ears in debt. Weeks had gone by and I was still waiting around for my first client to show up. I figured I'd have more work than I could handle in a big city like New San Francisco. And I was just starting to feel like a tiny bug on the windshield. Yeah, Chelsea, you wouldn't believe it, but I had a really nice office. Let me tell you about it. The PI Rules is my Bible. 20 tried and true aphorisms with plenty of blank pages to add your own. I've come up with 17 others so far. The Colonel told me this book was for idiots, but I found these words of wisdom to be both inspiring and instructive. Nothing refreshes like cool, clear water. I fill my ashtray with candy in hopes that visitors will forego the dangers of smoking in favor of good, wholesome, processed sugar. Extreme Sports Illustrated is pretty cutting edge. The last issue had an article on ultimate chess, 30 men and 2 women in a literal fight to the death. I just got this phone, and it came with a free 2-week subscription to the American Information Database. I can request data on my cases, and it will be faxed to my office immediately.
Welcome to the American Information Database. We hope you enjoy your free 2-week trial subscription. Our new voice recognition interface makes requesting information more convenient than ever before. Simply tell us the topic you want researched. The request will be immediately transmitted to our central database. Any available information will be sent, usually within seconds, to your fax number. What topic would you like us to research? A search for information on Tex Murphy has been initiated. What other topic would you like us to research? Thank you for using the American Information Database. Goodbye.
Do you have a fax?
Just manuals for the phone and fax machine, you know, technical stuff. Well, I've only got a few things in my file cabinets right now, but some... This here's my little buddy. The only pet I've ever had. His name is Raymond. This is where letters of recommendation and thank yous from clients will go. Oops. This letter from the Colonel's been misfiled. I use this tape to measure my success. I've just got to dust it off and it'll work like a charm. I made these vases in my high school pottery class. It was the easiest B- I ever got. Oh, Boyd's Life. Annual fishing issue. I wonder what those twins are up to this month. The lady on QVC said these commemorative Elvis plates were collectibles. I figure I got my retirement all taken care of. This perpetual motion device just goes on and on and on. Reminds me of my crazy Uncle Cadmus. Some people have power ties. I have power plants. The guy who sold me my stone masks said either they were a fertility charm or would curse me to lifelong poverty and a violent death. Live dangerously, I say. When it comes to fashionable attire, I believe in quality over quantity. Uh-oh, only one pair left. I'd better be careful. Humphrey Bogart, my one true inspiration. I'm saving these bottles of cold duck for a special romantic dinner. All of the flavor and none of the mind-numbing alcohol. This is the one thing that I refuse to skimp on. It's the finest cot that money can buy. The Royal Game of India. In my book, Parcheesi, Twister, and Ms. Pac-Man are the triumvirate of competitive gaming. Well, 5 would be nice here.
Are you the private investigator?
That's what someone painted on the door.
I'll take that as a yes. I'd like to hire you, if you're available.
Well, it just so happens that I am. What can I do for you, Ms.
Linsky, but I'd prefer if you called me Sylvia.
Okay, Sylvia. I'm Tex Murphy. Have a seat.
I'm sorry if I disturbed your game.
Well, that's all right. I was losing anyway.
Would you like one?
No, actually, there's a rumor going around that those things are bad for you.
Lots of things are bad for you. That doesn't stop me from enjoying them.
So, why are you in the market for a PI?
My father, Carl Linsky, died a week ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
The police think it's suicide. I believe they're wrong.
Well, the police are usually pretty good in matters like this. I mean, I can't believe they'd make that big a mistake.
My father wasn't suicidal, and I'll pay you to prove it.
Okay, your father's name is... Sorry, was?
Carl Linsky.
Okay. Well, if we rule out the suicide, that leaves 3 other ways to go. I mean, it could have been an accident or natural causes, or it could have been murder.
The police say that they have witnesses that saw him jump off the Golden Gate Bridge.
Well, I guess that rules out the first 2 then. So you think your father was murdered?
He didn't kill himself, I know it.
Look, if I take your case, you gotta understand there's no money back guarantee. And it doesn't sound real promising.
I just don't know what else to do.
Who's the officer in charge?
The detective's name is Eve Clements.
All right, I'll go down and I'll talk to her. We can get together later and I'll tell you what I found out.
I'm staying at my father's house. Here's the address. Now, about the money up front. How much do you need? Because I haven't got a lot.
I'm running a special this week. If I decide not to take your case, there isn't going to be any charge.
Thank you. I'll be waiting.
It's nice to meet you, Sylvia.
What topic would you like us to research? A search for information on Sylvia Linsky has been initiated. What other topic would you like us to research? A search for information on Carl Linsky has been initiated. What other topic would you like us to research? A search for information on Detective Eve Clements has been initiated. What other topic would you like us to research? Thank you for using the American Information Database. Goodbye.
It doesn't sound like a very promising start.
Well, like I said, I was running out of cash fast and was pretty desperate for a case. I knew Detective Clements and figured I'd pay her a visit. The only problem was she and the Colonel were pretty tight, and like I told you, I'd gotten the Colonel in some trouble not long before.
Get out!
You busy?
If it isn't Tex Murphy.
Sold out any fellow PIs lately?
Oh, you bet. 3 this week alone.
You know, the last thing I need is some pansy PI wasting my time.
Look, I'll be so quick, you won't even know I was here.
Give me one good reason why I should do any favors for you.
Listen, I just went into business for myself, and I'm kind of relying on people like you to help me out.
All right, Murphy. You're just lucky you caught me in a charitable mood. But be quick about it. 6 witnesses saw Linsky take the dive. Their stories matched up and they all checked out.
And they all ID'd Linsky.
Not exactly. None of them were close enough to make an absolutely positive ID, but they described his general appearance, build, and clothing. Body wasn't found for a couple of days. Wasn't in the best shape when we fished it out of the bay, but we were able to make an identification using the personal effects found on the body. Coroner said the cause of death was drowning, no other injuries, though there was a scar back here. Linsky probably had surgery done recently. That's all. We didn't follow it up since it had nothing to do with his suicide. Standard stuff. Wallet, keys, and a suicide note neatly sealed in a Ziploc bag. I'd let you see it, but it's logged in as evidence. The handwriting, incidentally, was a 100% match. I'm willing to help you out because you're just getting started in the business. But don't abuse the privilege. As next of kin, she was notified and came in to identify her father's body. Didn't take it too well. One of the uniforms had to drive her home. The colonel seems to think you've got the potential to be a good PI, once you wake up to reality and get your priorities straight.
So you're saying you're not going to take my case?
Well, I don't want to take your money if I can't help you.
Fine. Leave.
I'm just being straight up, okay?
If you won't help me, I can do what I can on my own. It certainly won't be the first time.
I charge $400 a day plus expenses.
I have $1,000. If you can prove it wasn't suicide, I'll give you $10,000 later.
It's a deal. Now you're gonna need to tell me everything you know so I can get started.
Oh, I will. Thank you, Tex.
Why don't you think your father would commit suicide?
He never would have considered it. He took good care of himself, and he often told me he was going to celebrate his 100th birthday by going skydiving.
Well, do you know anybody who'd want to see him dead?
No, no one. Everyone liked him. He was a kind man. I know the police confirmed that the note was in my father's handwriting, but it doesn't matter. I know it had to be a forgery. My father mentioned that he had had surgery performed, but he said it was minor and didn't say any more about it.
Detective Clement said you didn't pick up your father's personal effects.
I really don't remember much after they asked me to identify the body. An officer drove me home, and I haven't gone back.
Well, they won't release the personal effects to me, and I'm hoping I'll be able to go through them so I can see if there's any kind of lead.
When we're done, I'll go pick them up and meet you back here. She wasn't very friendly or helpful. I think she already made up her mind about my father's death. All I want to do is find out the truth about my father's death. I found a scrap of paper here with the address to your office written on it, no name. If my father didn't contact you, he must have gone to see someone else who works in your building. Before I came to see you, I checked the directory in the lobby, but didn't recognize any of the names.
After I finished talking to Sylvia, she gave me a spare key and said I was free to look around the house.
Oh, Sylvia was playing you like a kazoo.
Well, more like a game of trouble, as I began to realize when I started poking around Linsky's house. I've never been a fan of dominoes. I figured the time wasted playing dominoes could be time well spent playing a rousing game of Parcheesi. Blackjack and dominoes, and 21 horizontally, vertically, and diagonal. Maybe Linsky had some code number if the dominoes were placed in a special order of 21 in all directions. A light is flashing by the 4, the 9, and the 8. These 3 numbers are probably useful. The fire makes the living room feel quaint and cozy. Linsky's taste in books ran the gamut from lackluster all the way to incomprehensible. There's always time for a new case. I wonder if this was for Linsky's personal use. If so, he may have had a little addiction. Freezer's well stocked. Sheesh, even I know you don't keep bananas in the fridge. Waste not, want not. I'm no expert, but I'd guess that's a microwave. Looks like a half-finished letter. It appears Carl Linsky was about to dump someone named Dolores. Scrap paper, notepad. So Linsky signed a book deal and wasn't delivering the goods. The question is, why? Junk mail, catalog. Linsky wasn't exactly a fashion animal. Most of these clothes look 20 years old. I wonder if Linsky's little black book could be green. Looks like Linsky bookmarked the address for Dolores Lightbody. I guess Linsky didn't plan on entertaining when he bought this bed. Brand new cotton briefs. Larges, too. I wonder if I oughta... Nah. There are only 31 pieces on the chessboard. Seems like an odd number. Dolores Lightbody?
Yes, indeedy.
My name's Tex Murphy. I'm a private investigator. I'm looking into the death of Carl Linsky.
Oh, well, do come in.
Thank you.
You are very, very welcome. Well, this is certainly exciting. A real live PI. I love detective novels, you know.
Is that right?
I guess I've always had a certain fascination with private dicks.
Well, I'm afraid that real PIs like myself, we're nothing like the ones in the novel. We're actually very, very boring.
I don't believe that for a second. I'll bet if you found the right partner to do some undercover work with, you would liven right up.
Tempting thought. But, you know, I'm just too much of a lone wolf, I guess.
The best ones usually are.
Well, as I'm sure you must know, Dolores, I'm gonna need to ask you a few questions.
What if I refuse to cooperate? Will you interrogate me under a bare bulb?
Well, I'm afraid, out of respect to the recently departed, I'm gonna have to ignore that little bit of innuendo.
Well, all right. Where to begin? Where to begin? It was about 3 months, 11 days ago on a foggy night when Carl and I first met. Naturally, it was love at first sight.
Ooh, sounds very romantic.
Oh. Actually, Carl came to have me draw up his will. That's what I do for a living.
Well, be a sweetie and tell me who's mentioned in the will.
Just for you. The primary beneficiary was that trollop, Sylvia. You know, just between us, I believe Sylvia may have driven Carl to his death.
Do you think Sylvia's capable of it?
Surely you don't mean murder.
Well, that's what I've been hired to find out. Now, I've got a few more questions for you, if you don't mind.
Oh, well, I'd do anything to help. I think you know that. I loved Carl desperately. We were very happy together. I can't for the life of me imagine why he did what he did. I'm afraid Carl's estate consisted of his home and his speeder and not much more. I'm afraid Carl wasn't very good with money. He stipulated in his will that everything be divided between his daughter Sylvia and the North Hill Clinic. Of course, the real money that trollop Sylvia will get will be from his life insurance policy. That was Carl's way of making amends to Sylvia. And I'm sure it's the only reason Sylvia has you investigating her father's death. Carl worked there for years. It's a very exclusive medical facility, you know. I've been in touch with the director, Arnold Sternwood. He's an extremely attractive man, but also very busy. If you'd like to see him, I can try to arrange an appointment with him. I'll call you and let you know. Then you'll have to owe me a favor. I don't play very well myself, but Carl did. He said that life itself is a chess match. Me? Oh, I'm still in shock, as you must imagine. It'll be weeks, maybe months, before I'm able to love again. This note is clearly a forgery. I will not dignify it with a response. Carl received regular packages from them. Vitamin supplements, I suppose. Carl was very health conscious. He often said he wanted to live forever. Carl loved to play games. Many a romantic evening we'd while away the hours playing dominoes or backgammon. Carl also loved to play chess. I can't really help you there. Carl's wife left soon after Sylvia was born. Oh, Carl did the best that he could, but he never felt that he'd done a very good job raising Sylvia, and she never appreciated her father. She left home when she was very young and went into some unsavory kind of work, escorting or something like that. Carl's heart was nearly broken. They hadn't been close in years. It's too soon, Tex. Allow me to grieve first, and then we'll see what grows between us.
So that was my introduction to Dolores Lightbody.
Oh, the way she talked about Carl, it sounds like she was living in denial.
Actually, it was Sausalito. But she did have a way of looking at things through steamed-up glasses. And she also had some valid concerns about my client, which I brought up with Sylvia later that day.
Here are the things from the police. There wasn't much. His wallet, a set of keys, 2 go to the house, 1 to the speeder. The other 2, I don't know what they go to. They also gave me a copy of the suicide note.
I'll check them out. I've got a few things I need to run by you. I went out and I talked with Dolores Lightbody today. Apparently you two aren't exactly soul sisters.
She is hideous. I don't know what kind of black magic she used on my father, but I can't think of any other explanation.
Dolores told me about the will. Apparently you're the beneficiary.
Why are you treating me like I'm a suspect? For your information, if I sold the house and the speeder and added it to the cash, I might be able to pay off my father's debt. I'm not going to benefit from this will.
Except, of course, the $1 million life insurance policy.
I'm not going to get a cent of that. I'm surprised you're even asking me about that. You know, life insurance policies don't pay off in cases of suicide.
And that's why you retain my services.
Well, you can think that if you want. But I don't have to stick around here and be insulted by the hired help.
Ouch.
Yeah, I violated PI Rule 17. Never upset a client. She was right. I was the hired help, so I went back to work. The manila envelope Sylvia had given me turned out to have some pretty useful items in it. The pain is unbearable. If Linsky really wrote this, I'd like to find out exactly what he's referring to. Typical packing boxes. Oh, grandfather clock. Grandma Murphy always found the name sexist. My mother still hasn't forgiven me for quitting piano lessons. Then again, she still refuses to believe the rumors about Liberace. It's a shame credenzas went out of style. I wish I had 2 or 3 for my office. Why would anyone keep something this handsome and ornamental hidden away in the attic? Paper, pencils, paper clips, not much else. This could be worth looking at. Sylvia Linsky's credit report. Looks like money management isn't one of her strong points. Oh, a bunch of neurology textbooks. Intriguing.
They're in my head. They're in my head. Get them out. Get them out. Get them out. They're in my head. Oh, get them out. Oh, get them out. I can't take it any longer. Get them out. Get them out.
What the hell was that all about? Looks like somebody was having fun with crayons. I wonder what Linsky did to this Blaine Werner person. Maybe he stole his tricycle. Well, I bet no one thought to look up here for a pirate's chest. Locked. I'll need to find a little something before I can open this. Well, what do we have here? Appears to be a rental agreement. From the looks of this, Linsky had a secret special place that he didn't want anyone to know about. Linsky's secret workshop was out by the spaceport in an old warehouse. The key from the manila envelope fit the lock and I stepped inside.
Was anyone there?
No, and I doubt anyone had been there since Linsky. The place didn't appear to have been searched, judging by all the interesting things I found. I'm fairly certain these barrels should stay nice and closed. Printout with a few notes added in Linsky's handwriting. I'm willing to bet this project of Linsky's figures prominently into the case, not to mention whoever this Overlord character is. A handwritten fax. Methinks I smell a lead. Well, this fax raises a few questions. First, who's SF? Second, was he working for Linsky? And third, what was he doing? Sounds like he just might have been canceling some people's subscriptions to Life. I'll bet this computer is important, but it's got a security protect feature. I'll need to attach a passcard reader and use a security card with it before it'll operate. Direct deposit slips. I personally haven't seen any of these for quite a while. I need to find out who was paying Linsky's tab. Newspaper clipping. Corkboard covered with dribble. A curious place to hide a note. Linsky didn't strike me as the sort of guy who'd use random profanity, no matter how mild. This may be a message or a code. The letter looks like it could be interesting. Well, this letter was written almost a year ago, and I'm guessing Linsky wasn't too happy to get it. If I can track down this Wanda Peck, maybe she can explain the context of the letter. Bottle of pills. Linsky must have had trouble sleeping. These prescription pills would knock out an elephant. First aid kit. It's like a package of electrical doohickeys. These cut-up pieces resemble a rectangular security card, but it looks like a piece is missing. I'm assuming Linsky did that on purpose. This circuit conductor kit could come in handy if I ever need to repair a circuit grid. Hey, there's a first time for everything. Either Linsky lost track of time in a big way, or this was just his favorite month. The word safe is a misnomer whenever I'm on a job. Several items are inside the safe. That's a passcard reader. If you attach it to a computer, then use a passcard on it. Well, this is a life insurance policy taken out by Carl Linsky. And the sole beneficiary is Sylvia Linsky. Passcard reader's hooked up. Now I'll need to scan the passcard.
It sounds like you didn't find too many answers in Linsky's warehouse.
No, just more questions. As I headed home for the night, one theory after another pounded in my head. If Linsky killed himself, what was the reason? Because he was in debt? His apparent health problem, whatever that was? Something to do with Sylvia? Or if Linsky was murdered, who was behind it? Dolores, because she knew Linsky was going to dump her? Sylvia, to get the insurance money? Or was it someone else with a motive I hadn't even discovered yet? Sounds like I've got a message on the vid phone.
Hi, Tex. I need to talk to you as soon as possible. Could you come over to my father's house whenever you get this message? No matter how late it is. I'll be waiting for you.
Ah, the mating call of the blonde bird of prey. Well, I guess it goes without saying you ran right over there.
If I'd known how dangerous the situation was, I would have stopped to buy a gun. Turned out Sylvia had been talking to Mr. Absolute all evening.
Oh, look who it is. Oh, look who it is. Tex Murphy, handsome PI on the case from hell. I bet you've solved this damn mystery by now, haven't you?
Oh, it'll take a few minutes.
And here I am. Sylvia Linsky, the bereaved client whose daddy took a dive into the San Francisco Bay. It sounds interesting, doesn't it?
Sounds like you've had too much to drink.
Oh, don't tell me I've had too much to drink. I have plenty to drink about, more than you know.
That's just the grief.
What do you know about grief? Huh? Is your daddy dead? Did your mom walk out on you before you could even pronounce your own name? Huh? I didn't think so. You know what it's like to be absolutely alone? That's what I am now, alone. I don't have anybody now.
Sylvia, I'm really sorry.
Don't pity me. I don't need you. I don't need anybody. Go away.
What you don't need is any more of this. What you do need is some Betty Pie.
Mr. Murphy, I'm surprised at you taking advantage of a woman who's had too much to drink.
Not tonight, Sylvia. I require my victims to be at least sober enough to sign a waiver. You pass that point. A long time ago.
Don't you like me, Tex?
I like you. That's why I put you to bed. Now I'm gonna leave.
You're no fun. Not one bit.
Good night, Sylvie.
Good night. I like you too, Tex.
You're not gonna like anything in the morning.
You know, when we first met, it wasn't all that different from your night with Sylvia. But of course, you were the one that was sloppy drunk.
What? You talking about the Bastille Day celebration at the Bruin Stew? I wasn't that drunk.
Oh, no, we met before Louis' party. Don't you remember? Come on, sweetie.
Oh, I do remember something, but I thought that was a dream. It's all kind of fuzzy.
Okay, buddy. Come on. Time to go
Louie,
home. No.
Louie, one more.
Hey, hey, let's get going, bud. Come on. Morning, you've got places to go. I've got... Oh, come on, guy. Get out of here. Look at what you've done to my stand.
I can get those.
No, I don't need your
Let me
help.
help you with that because
Get your hands off me, you pervert! Yeah, I guess that wasn't a very promising start.
Now I know why I don't remember. You punched me. I mean, my jaw hurt for a week and I never did figure out why. Well, it was kind of a down period in my life.
Well, things have gotten better. Haven't they?
Yeah.
Oh, but I'm dying to find out how you went from the starch-pressed young PI to a puddle of drool. Let's hear some more about your story.
Well, you're making it sound so glamorous.
What did you do after you left Sylvia?
Well, the next morning, Dolores Lightbody contacted me. She had got an appointment with Arnold Sternwood out at the North Hill Clinic. And I went out to see him.
Mr. Murphy, this won't take long, will it? I have an extremely full docket.
Well, I suppose just this one time we can forego the background check and hobby questionnaire.
So, what can I do for you?
Okay, well, that's enough small talk. Now, did you or did you not have anything to do with the murder of Carl Linsky?
It's my understanding Carl's death has been ruled a suicide. I don't know what else to tell you. Is there anything else?
Well, what's it like to be director of North Hill? Bet you got some horror stories to tell, huh?
I feel fortunate to hold this position. In light of our ranking as one of the world's finest medical facilities.
So can you tell me what Carl Linsky did around here, using words I can understand?
When he was younger, he was one of the very best neurosurgeons. Do you know what that means? For the past few years, he worked mostly in research. Now, I don't mean to be unaccommodating, Mr. Murphy, but I really do have urgent matters to attend to.
Look, sorry, can I just have a couple of minutes?
Carl worked here for 26 years. Over the past few years, his age forced him to give up surgery in favor of research. We were friends, though not extremely close. I was sorry to learn of his premature death. I can't give you any details regarding that. Miss Peck works for Capricorn. While I respect her professionalism and the ideas of the organization for which she works, I don't look back on our brief association with any fondness. The name is unfamiliar. I can't give you any details regarding that. I've never heard of it. Warner worked for us as an intern. He was fired as a result of his unprofessional behavior. I have no idea where he is now. I assure you, Mr. Murphy, I had no part in the death of Carl Linsky. I can't give you any details regarding that. I consider it an honor to work here in light of the clinic's well-deserved reputation. Until Ms. Lightbody contacted me, I was unaware that Carl had made North Hill a beneficiary in his will. I've been known to play chess on occasion, in those rare moments when I have time for leisure. I believe she was Carl's fiancée, as well as the executor of his will. I didn't know her prior to Carl's death. I've never heard of it. That company supplies us with many technologically advanced medications, including what you might call anti-aging drugs. They're very much on the cutting edge in their field. Carl gave me no indication of being suicidal. Of course, I hadn't seen him in over 2 months. That young woman is trouble. I won't burden you with details. Suffice it to say that she has a way with older men and knows how to get what she wants. I don't want to seem rude, but I really do have many pressing engagements. Let's stick to business, shall we? About a year ago, Capricorn came to us, to Carl Linsky specifically, with allegations of unethical research practices. The charges were completely without merit. But Carl decided to take a voluntary leave of absence, and Capricorn decided to not pursue the investigation.
I dealt with Capricorn in one of my later cases, but this was the first time in the Capricorn building. I mean, the exterior was impressive, but what I saw inside was dynamite.
Some woman, I'd guess. Well, from your choice of metaphors, I don't think I'm going to like this part of the story very much.
Wanda Peck. How may I help you, Mr. Murphy?
Weren't you in the Miss Universe pageant last year?
Yes. I was working undercover investigating allegations of bra stuffing.
Well, that's good work if you can get it. So Capricorn has absolutely nothing to do with horoscopes.
No, not officially. So what brings you here?
I'm looking into the suicide of a man who you investigated at the North Hill Clinic.
I read about Linsky's death. I was sad about it. But why do you want to talk to me? Take a seat.
Frankly, leads in this case have been harder to find than a good Pauly Shore movie.
I get the feeling you're not convinced that Linsky's death was a suicide. If that's the case, I would be happy to help you in your investigation. About a year ago, we were told that Mr. Linsky was conducting unethical practices on comatose and terminally ill patients at North Hill Clinic. I looked into the matter, but was unable to prove anything. Mr. Linsky voluntarily took a leave of absence, saying he had other projects to pursue, so we decided to drop the investigation. Capricorn's primary mission is to identify, then infiltrate organizations suspected of practicing extreme discrimination. These include everything from UFO cults to hate groups to unethical research scientists. I don't have any information on that. Never heard that name before? I keep hearing the word overlord, especially linked to the Law and Order Party. I don't know if it's a person, place, or thing, but it seems to represent a lot of power. Can't help you there. As the director of the clinic, he was understandably eager to avoid any scandal and was very helpful throughout our investigation of Karl Linsky. I don't have any information on that. As you probably know, the clinic has an outstanding reputation. We were surprised when the allegations against Karl Linsky came up. I haven't the faintest idea what that is. I play occasionally, but I like my sports a little more physical. We're putting a lot of our resources into investigating Law and Order. Their legal people make sure they don't cross the line publicly, but their ideology is pretty frightening to anyone with any intelligence or belief in human rights. Never heard that name before? Can't help you there. I don't have any information on that. Never heard that name before? I would prefer to keep our relationship strictly professional if you don't mind, but perhaps we can help each other out.
I knew you'd be back. I just never dreamed it would be so soon.
Well, the last time I was here, you were a big help, and I do mean that literally.
I'll do anything to help. Anything. Well, they're a bit too right-wing for me, but I do agree with many of their policies. Oh, and they have the most handsome and attractive gubernatorial candidate. That's some sort of spy organization. Karl didn't think too fondly of it for some reason. That was Karl's way of making amends to Sylvia. And I'm sure it's the only reason Sylvia has you investigating her father's death. Oh, I wish I could be of more help. I'm afraid I haven't heard of it. I seem to remember Karl mentioning somebody with those initials. It was Sonny. Sonny something or other. Sonny Fletcher. Yes, I'm certain that it was Sonny Fletcher. I think he was a PI, like you. Although I doubt he was as handsome. I don't know what he was doing for Karl.
What topic would you like us to research? A search for information on Sonny Fletcher has been initiated. What other topic would you like us to research? A search for information on Rona Morgan has been initiated. What other topic would you like us to research? A search for information on Dolores Lightbody has been initiated. What other topic would you like us to research? Thank you for using the American Information Database. Goodbye.
Sylvia Linsky came by to pick up her father's personal effects. Must be nice having a job for a change.
And she's just the only one you know about. And unlike you, I have the luxury of choosing which clients I want to take.
Yeah, you only take the cases where the client agrees to pay you.
Yeah. You're kidding about that. You know, Lieutenant, I mean, we could sit here all day and trade friendly insults, and that might be pretty fun. But you know what I need right now? I need the help of an intelligent, knowledgeable, not to mention gorgeous policewoman right now.
You're not as charming as you think, Murphy. What do you want? Older guy. He's a PI like you, or used to be. He has a little problem with the bottle. Okay, look. Fletcher's had a few DUIs. He's a friend of the Colonel's, and as a favor, we didn't make him do any time. If you can keep that to yourself, I'll call Fletcher's parole officer and let you know where you can find Sonny. I don't meddle in politics, but I like most of what I've heard from the Law and Order Party. It's about time government did something to clean up the streets and get rid of all the illegals. I've heard of it, but I don't have any privileged information about it. I haven't got any information on that. She was some sort of research scientist. Her family had us investigate her death, but we didn't find any evidence to indicate that it was anything but accidental poisoning. Never heard of it. I haven't got any information on that. I've heard of it, but I don't have any privileged information about it. Never heard of it. I don't play, if that's what you're asking. I don't know the name. I don't have a lot of time to waste, Murphy. I haven't got any information on that.
The address Detective Clements got from Sonny Fletcher's parole officer turned out to be a filthy, vermin-infested motel. It was a dump, and it smelled like a porta-potty at a chili cook-off.
Ugh, okay, I get the point.
Sorry. I just couldn't imagine why Carl Linsky would hire a detective who lived in a place like that.
What do you want?
Hi, yeah, I'm on a scavenger hunt. I'm looking for a spool of thread, a shoehorn, and the answer to a question. Why did Carl Linsky throw himself off the Golden Gate Bridge?
What makes you think I know Carl Linsky?
That's up to you, Sonny. I mean, I can invite Linsky's girlfriend and your parole officer over for a game of truth or dare. You can just humor me right now.
Let me tell you something. With that attitude of yours, I can tell that you just received your PI license, didn't you?
Well, that's what I tell all the chicks. My name's Murphy.
All right. Come in, Murphy. I'll talk to you. Casa es tu casa.
Thanks.
Close the door.
Nice place.
Yeah. My travel agent got it for me.
I'd get a new travel agent. Is this your permanent residence?
It just might be. Why?
That's just... It's like you're hiding out from bill collectors or something.
I guess you could say that. Come on! What do you want from me, huh?
I understand Carl Linsky had hired you. At least, before he died.
I had nothing to do with Carl Linsky buying the farm. Bible truth.
The Bible says the truth will set you free.
Oh.
What were you working on with Linsky?
Okay, I guess I can tell you now. It doesn't matter. He wanted me to find some people for him.
Why?
I don't know. Man gives me a list of names and I go to work, okay?
If you don't mind me saying, why would Linsky hire you? You don't look like you're in much condition to be working.
That's low. I haven't had a drink in almost 2 years! Until last week!
I guess you're pretty thirsty by then.
You're funny, man! You're so funny.
Jeez. What are you working on with Linsky?
Look, I just tracked down 2 people, all right? It was a Val Davis and a Rona Morgan. Didn't take me any time. I found out where they were. They were in the ground, and they hadn't been there too long.
Is that when you dropped the case?
Yeah, around there. Look, I prefer not to talk about this anymore, okay?
Okay.
Gracias.
If you could just give me some more information about the names on the list.
I can't remember.
Come on, don't hold out on me. You want a bribe or something? You know that's illegal.
I can't remember. Bible's truth.
Okay, I'm gonna give it to you straight. I'm working on Linsky's suicide, and I just need some information, a clue or a lead, something to keep the thing going.
Wait a minute. All right. Tell me to hang on to it, a bee's up, in case anything happened to it.
Just a bishop.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Just a warning. You better get off this case right now. Judgment Day is looking for me, and it could look for you, too. You better get out, amigo.
I'll keep your warning in mind.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Maybe we'll see each other around.
Yeah, maybe. Hey.
I'll shut the door. What's this? 2 pieces for the price of 1. Pass card E. Well, if they use the same alphabet I do, that means there are at least 5 of these cards floating around. Maybe more. The Fresno address was in the heart of the hot zone, in what might have been a strip mall, at least before the bombs fell. It seemed pretty obvious the place was a front, a red herring meant to throw off any passing bloodhounds. But I'd made the trip, so I decided to check it out. A handsome display of commemorative plates. Interesting. Looks like the plates can be rotated. Looks like there were a few packing boxes left over from the move. A safe. And it appears to be connected somehow to the commemorative plate display. Electric bill. I wonder how old this thing is. Looks like mail's still being delivered to this address. Well, someone left their day planner behind. I like seeing what exciting things other people get to do. There are 3 different appointments. Dinner on Monday in San Francisco at 6 p.m. Lunch on Tuesday in Paris at 2 p.m. Breakfast in Sydney on Thursday at 9 a.m. I hope this person can keep track of time zones. And what's this note about 3 sets of 3? Must be important. It's a map of the world with 3 different time zones highlighted. A safe, and it appears to be connected somehow to the commemorative plate display. A photograph. A photo of Carl Linsky is about the last thing I'd expect to find in a safe in an abandoned office in the middle of a hot zone. Something tells me I need to find out who the other guy in the photo is.
So, how is your investigation progressing?
I found out some things that might interest you.
I thought you might. You seem a resourceful and persistent fellow. Carl Linsky and John Klaus together. This is extremely interesting. Do you mind if I have this photo examined? I'd like to find out exactly when and where it was taken. I'll let you know if I find anything out, okay? Klaus is a scary man. He has a lot of pull in the Law and Order party. I think he'd run for office if he could, but he doesn't have the image for it. Instead, he sits behind the curtain and pulls the strings. Can't help you there. Never heard that name before?
When I returned to Sonny's motel room, he wasn't there, but he'd left a letter for me taped to the door. 3 interlocking cogwheels are fixed to the walls. Mysterious. Well, I'm no expert on Anasazi culture, but it looks to me like I'll have to line up the red dots on the cogs to the corresponding red marks on the wall. Looks like a brick with an Anasazi figure drawn on it. There's a bucket down there with a brick in it. If I can find something to hook onto the bucket handle with, I could take a closer look at the brick. Interior decorating, Anasazi style. Couple of long, sturdy poles. Wooden box. Whoa, that snake doesn't look very friendly. And it doesn't look like it's gonna move away from that brick anytime soon. Maybe I can bait it into moving. Ceremonial chamber, one of the earliest forms of nightclubs known to man. A length of rope made of woven fibers. Nothing puts a smile on my face like a little pot. This looks suspiciously like a primitive fishing pole. Yet another mystery of the Anasazi. The holes in the walls are the same size as the bricks I've found with the Anasazi drawings on them. I'm guessing that 8 bricks inserted into the correct openings will cause something cool to happen. Interior decorating, Anasazi style. This door doesn't open. I'll have to find another way in. Now there's no apparent way to open this door. Maybe it's connected somehow to that weird thing on the other wall. The holes in the wall were the same size as the bricks I'd found with the Anasazi drawings on them. It seemed likely that I'd have to insert the bricks into the correct openings. Then I assumed something really cool would happen. Something big just moved around here. rare Anasazi light fixtures. Leather strips. This must have been the local jerky hut. There are more structures over there. Looks as though a natural bridge spanned this at one time, but it's long gone. I guess I need to find another way across, but how? These glasses don't seem to have been here very long. I wonder if they could be Bosworth Clark's. Something tells me this is a bad omen. One thin dime. What I could use right now is a lucky penny, but this'll just have to do. Interior decorating, Anasazi style. A pocket watch. Doesn't appear to have been wound recently. Now, whatever's behind this panel must control the door. Well, I'm no expert, but I don't think metal doors are typical of early Native American cultures. I know the government built dozens of secret military installations around the turn of the century and then abandoned them after World War III. Maybe this is one of them. Looks like someone was messing around with this. One of the wire connections is broken. I'll need to find something to repair it with, and be careful not to short the whole thing out. As I entered Clark's lab, something caught my eye.
What was it?
It was blood, and it was all over the floor. Probably walked into the middle of a murder scene, and the question was, where was Bosworth Clark? Something tells me if these display monitors were on, I might find out what Bosworth Clark was working on. I'll never figure out how to get this thing working. I've had a hard enough time operating anything more high-tech than a coffee maker. Now this must be the smoking section. Calendar doesn't tell me too much. Clark's taste in posters is banal at best. Video disc player. This must have been Clark's only entertainment out here in the middle of nowhere. Clark must really have a thing for satellites. Looks like an authentic smoke alarm, but I've been wrong before. Well, this smoke alarm wasn't designed to detect smoke. With any luck, the little camera inside detected something even more interesting.
Bosworth?
Oh, yes, yes.
Bosworth Clark.
Yes. What is this?
We're going to play a little game. One in 6 chances. Lucky boy. One more time.
No, don't.
I've always enjoyed working with models, but I prefer the kind with 2 legs. The computer looks like it should work, but it's got a weird keypad on it. This monitor appears to be hooked up to an external camera. Question is this the unpronounceable name of some Anasazi god, or something even less obvious? Pass card reader's hooked up. Now I'll need to scan the pass card. Looks like I have to press these buttons in a certain sequence to open the storage cabinet. Each button has a unique tone. Maybe there's a reference to the sequence somewhere in here. I'll bet I can find the password somewhere in here. thought I'd stop by and see whether you'd finished your examination of that photograph of Linsky.
We did, but we only found one thing of any interest. Both Klaus and Linsky were wearing ID badges with the STG logo on them. Does that mean anything to you?
No, not yet. You got a couple of minutes, I'd like to ask you a few more questions.
Sure. I've heard only one reference to STG. It was in a letter sent to me anonymously about a month ago. The letter was sent by someone calling him or herself the Poisoned Pawn. I would have figured it was written by some psychopath, but there was enough verifiable information to make me take it seriously. The letter said that there was a project called STG, which was in the process of being swallowed up by Law and Order. The letter advised us to check out John Klaus, STG, and Law and Order's connection to it. I have no idea who it is. We examined the letter for clues to the author's identity, but came up dry. He or she did say that we could contact them through someone named Jorge Valdez. There are a handful of Jorge Valdezes in the area, and I'm sure there are some that aren't listed. I've checked out the ones I could find, but none of them appeared to be the one I was looking for. I have people trying to track down what STG is and does, but they haven't had much luck.
What topic would you like us to research? A search for information on STG Corporation has been initiated. What other topic would you like us to research? Thank you for using the American Information Database. Goodbye.
So, how is your investigation progressing?
I found out some things that might interest you.
I thought you might. You seem a resourceful and persistent fellow. Gideon Enterprises had a little shake-up recently. The chairman of the board, Frank Schimming, pulled a coup on Jason Gideon, who's now practically out of a job. It was all legal, but underhanded. Gideon helped us design some of our most valuable and top-secret surveillance equipment. We even invited him to join our organization, but he said that he was too old for the cloak and dagger business. Rumors have circulated that Schimming is connected to the Law and Order Party. If that's the case, we're gonna have a hard time doing anything to stop them. Gideon Enterprises has more money and power than it knows what to do with. They would make an imposing enemy.
Yes?
Mr. Schimming, my name's Murphy. I'd like to ask you a few questions about STG.
Is this an official investigation?
If you're a nice guy and play ball with me, I think we can keep this thing off the record.
I believe it's within my rights to ask for whom you work.
I work for SFPD, and as far as we're concerned, you don't have any rights.
So, what does San Francisco's finest want with me?
The lovely and talented Wanda Peck said you might be able to help us.
So, you're with Capricorn. I thought you people had gotten tired of pestering me.
We never get tired of pestering. That's our motto.
What is it you want this time? No one by the name of Carl Linsky has ever been on Gideon Enterprises' pay. Mr. Gideon founded this corporation and brought it to prominence. And he did this despite mediocre business skills, which have diminished along with his general mental state over the past several years. He became obsessed with pet projects and was leading the company in a counterproductive direction. And for that reason, the board of directors saw fit to limit his authority in business matters.
So what does Mr. Gideon think about all of this?
Why don't you ask him yourself? I'm sure he'd appreciate a visit from someone other than nurses and wheelchair repairmen. I'll let you know where to find him. Professionally, I strive to do what the board of directors pays me to do. Run this corporation as effectively and profitably as possible. My personal life is none of your business. We are the world's foremost innovator and implementer of security surveillance systems. We are also the parent company for dozens of smaller firms, ranging from computer chip makers to research facilities. I don't know who that is. Totally unfamiliar. I have nothing of any importance to say about that. I know John Klaus, but only socially. I'll have to take your word that the other man is Carl Linsky. I've never seen him before in my life. We have many small subsidiary companies. If I remember correctly, STG was research-based and probably more of a write-off than anything. I know it is no longer in existence and was unimportant, to say the least. Now, this questioning is getting tiresome. Get to the point if you have one. I don't know who that is. The name is completely foreign to me. My political beliefs are my own, and I make a point of not allowing them to interfere at any time with my business dealings. I respect the work Capricorn does, which is the only reason I'm talking to you now. To my knowledge, Gideon Enterprises has done nothing to warrant a Capricorn investigation. Now, this questioning is getting tiresome. Get to the point if you have one. Ms. Morgan was a top engineering consultant for Gideon Enterprises for many years. She left and started her own company several years ago and was doing quite well last time I heard. I haven't heard of it. Totally unfamiliar. North Hill Clinic security system was installed by our corporation. That is the extent of my dealings with the clinic. Chess was and is a common motif in Gideon Enterprises, owing to Mr. Gideon's avid interest in the game. I have no interest in it myself. I have nothing of any importance to say about that. Now, this questioning is getting tiresome. Get to the point if you have one.
You actually met J. St. Gideon in person?
Yeah. Want my autograph?
Well, what was he like? What about the mansion? Oh, I heard it was spectacular.
A little garish for my taste, but nice. Now, the mansion, on the other hand...
Very funny.
Cozy little flat you've got here.
You must find it ostentatious. I admit I do as well. It's certainly too much home for only one person.
You don't live here alone, do you?
I'm afraid so. My fortune has provided me with a fully automated, self-sufficient existence. I suppose my disability has given me an aversion to reliance on others. I want for nothing, except perhaps human companionship, and that only after my somewhat forced semi-retirement.
Well, don't you worry about your safety. I mean, given your condition.
Gideon Enterprises defines state-of-the-art with regard to security systems. I'm surrounded, perhaps imprisoned, by the very finest electronic moat. No, I don't worry about my safety, though I thank you for your concern. Now, to what do I owe this welcome visit?
I'm investigating the death of Carl Linsky. He was an employee in your corporation.
Oh, no, Gideon Enterprises is no longer mine, I'm afraid. I'm sure that Frank Schimming would be a better source of information than I.
I already talked with Frank Schimming. He was about as helpful as a DMV employee in the middle of his 2-week notice.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. I won't mince words. I don't like Schimming. My complete trust in him was repaid with his exploiting my lack of management acumen, then usurping my position as head of Gideon.
But you're still president of the corporation.
Oh, yes. I have no more real authority to run my company than the King of England has to run his country. I'm merely a figurehead, nothing more.
Why don't you just sack him, as the English say?
Even if I could, what would be the point, huh? My time is past. I'm as outdated as this antique. Such is the cutthroat nature of business. Though I dare say the world itself has become nothing more than a business run by a select few.
I'm not sure I agree, Mr. Gideon. I think there are a lot of people out there who want to make the world a better place.
Oh? And you, my fine friend, how do you intend to make the world a better place?
I don't know. Keep an open mind, respect others, buy Girl Scout cookies.
You think this will make a difference?
I think if enough people care, it just might catch on.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I used to think like you at one time. But idealism costs nothing, and I lived on it for many years. But its taste is bittersweet. It's in large part the reason why I can no longer walk. You'd like to hear what happened, wouldn't you?
I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable.
Oh, I mean, this damn cage for more years than I care to remember. I've had to grow accustomed to it. It was 2013. I was in Geneva to attend a covert meeting of UN operatives. There were 14 of us, and at least one was a traitor, armed with an explosive device. I was the only survivor.
Did you ever find out who it was?
No. It could have been any one of a score of countries or organizations. Well, I don't suppose it matters anymore. It was the beginning of the end. There are no heroes anymore, only villains of varying degrees.
What about Capricorn? You support what they do, don't you?
Oh, Capricorn does what they do, but they're merely fighting the good fight. Oh, greed and corruption have the upper hand. When I was younger, I sincerely believed we could achieve a semblance of global order and harmony. That was only the foolish dream of a youthful idealist. Once I was crippled, I was no longer of use. No, I was turned loose into the world. A cruel and deadly steeplechase where survival was a matter of social Darwinism. I was lost. I believed that my handicap had denied me my destiny. Years and years passed before I realized that I still had much to offer. With little more than a plan, I laid the foundations of Gideon Enterprises. Among the mutant population, I found other social misfits whose skills and talents had been overshadowed by their physical abnormalities. Oh, those were difficult times. We were openly ridiculed. Finding investors and financing was an often humiliating series of rejections. How could someone like myself, a cripple, ever hope to accomplish such a venture? But eventually, we did succeed. Becoming the wealthiest and most powerful corporation of its type in the world. I had recaptured the idealism of my youth, the belief that through sacrifice, commitment, and hard work, anything was possible. But then it happened again. In the blink of an eye, all those years of investment and careful nurturing were torn from me by thieves and liars masquerading as board members and stockholders. And now, towering over them all is Frank Shimming. His disregard for integrity is matched only by his worship of dividends and profit margins. So nothing has happened. I have come full circle. And once again, I'm unwanted, unneeded, and facing a purposeless existence. So you listen to me. If you insist in striding through life, arms laden with hope, you will only meet with one devastating disappointment after another. Oh, please forgive me, Mr. Murphy. You must be a very busy man. I must apologize for monopolizing your time with my ramblings.
I don't mind.
Oh, it's good of you to indulge me. It's just that I receive so few visitors these days. But we must return to your investigation. Please, Tell me what I can do to assist you. I only know, I should say knew, him by reputation. He was an outstanding neurologist in his time. I read about his suicide in the newspapers. I don't want you to pity me, Mr. Murphy. I have enough creature comforts to make life worth living. I'd rather talk about something more pleasant. Suffice to say that Mr. Shimming will not be receiving a Christmas card from me this year. I feel like a parent whose child has left the nest. I created Gideon Enterprises, nursed it, and raised it to adulthood. And now it's left me with an empty home and too many hours in the day. Mr. Valdez runs a chess shop called the Rank and File in the Old City. We play quite often over the Ethernet. Yes, he's one of the few worthy opponents I've found. In chess terminology, a poisoned pawn is the bait in a trap. Whoever is going by that name probably considers him or herself a sacrificial lamb, so to speak. I'm afraid I haven't heard of it. This is Karl Linsky? Well, I only knew him by name, and I don't recognize the other man. I know nothing about that. I wish I could be of more assistance. No, I'm unfamiliar with the name. I am unacquainted with her. The Law and Order Party is merely a Machiavellian byproduct of our society's decay. Their goals are not altogether unworthy, but those ends do not justify their means. But unfortunately, they've struck a chord with the public. And with an appealing candidate like Robert Knott, they will surely gain a great deal of power. While I don't know him personally, my instincts tell me that Mr. Knott is a man of integrity. But I've been wrong before. I sometimes feel that Capricorn is the last bastion of sanity in the world. Their efforts are laudable but futile. Rona Morgan was a beautiful, intelligent woman trapped in a deformed shell. She joined our engineering team early on and soon proved her immense value. She went into business for herself some time ago, with my blessing. Chess is my only diversion. Oh, if you care to play, I'd be glad to teach you a thing or two about the game. I owe what quality of life I have to a variety of DHS medications. Without them, I probably would not be having this conversation. I wish I could be of more assistance.
The Rank and File was right in the middle of the old city.
Wasn't this back when they still called it Freak Town?
Yeah, the Mutant League was in high gear at the time, and the whole mutant norm thing was just starting to heat up. I got more than a few nasty looks when I showed up at the chess shop. How's the game going?
Welcome to the rank and file.
What can I do for you?
Hey, wait a second. You're not the Jorge Valdez, are you?
That's my name, though I'm sure there are one or two others in the world.
My name's Tex Murphy. I'm a private investigator.
Look, I don't want any trouble.
I'm a friend of J. St. Gideon's.
Oh, if you're a friend of Mr. Gideon's, you're a friend of mine. How can I help you? Nice guy. He used to come in here occasionally. I read in the paper that he killed himself. It's too bad. Not is the pretty facade that disguises the law and order party's war machine. Mr. Gideon's been a friend of the mutants for years, unlike most people in his social strata. He's a great man. It makes me angry as hell to think what Shimming did to him. Back when I was a programmer, I worked there for a couple of years, until Shimming took over. Everything changed for the worse. It was like working under Stalin. Why are you asking about me? I'm just a source of information to someone like you. Poisoned pawn is a chess term. It refers to an apparently unprotected pawn, whose capture leads to dire consequences. If I had to guess, I'd say the author of the anonymous letter felt like he was the first link in a dark chain. I don't know anything about the letter, or why my name was mentioned in it. I recognize Linsky, of course, but I don't know the other person. Though I think I may have seen him with Frank Shimming years ago. Haven't heard of her. Capricorn is about the last organization in the world that considers us mutants to be human beings. I think there's a battle brewing between them and the Law and Order Party. I'm really not familiar with that. You know what the Law and Order Party is? It's the Fourth Reich. They won't rest until every mutant is deported, imprisoned, or dead. I haven't heard anything about it.
Tex Murphy here.
Are you investigating the death of Carl Linsky?
Well, it depends. Who's asking?
A friend. Just a friend.
You're not calling to see whether I need my carpets cleaned, are you?
No.
So what do you need?
The question is, what do you need?
Well, Good home-cooked meal would be nice, but other than that, I need a lead.
A University of San Francisco professor, Val Davis, died in a speeder crash last week.
Well, that's interesting, but it's not much of a lead, is it?
Davis was working on the STG project with Linsky.
Okay. Now you've got my attention.
There are answers to be found in Davis's laboratory on the USF campus, Building C. If you get there within the hour, the doors will be unlocked.
Okay, I'm on my way, but what am I looking for?
The chess move. I'll be watching. When you find it, I'll contact you again.
Ooh, intriguing. So who was the mysterious informant?
I had no idea at the time.
You're not going to tell me, are you?
I'll tell you this. I didn't waste any time getting over to the USF campus and into Val Davis's lab. Sure enough, it was unlocked and I started looking around. I guess I'm supposed to notice this. It's another computer that's hooked up to the security passcard network. Nothing more appetizing than a big barrel full of biological waste products. I shudder to think what kind of experiments are done on these poor, helpless, stinky animals. Hey, it's Peppy, Raymond's long-lost brother. Hey, it's Peppy, Raymond. Standard lab cabinets. How to train your weasel? Weasel training must be dangerous business. Curious Ralph undergoes chemo. Kids' books just aren't as sweet and innocent as they used to be. Surgical tools always give me the creeps. Now this is the kind of test I always did well on. Quite a few empty cages. Of course, I'd imagine this place has a pretty high turnover. Whip it good. Weasels. Boy, I'd love to see one of these things go pop. When I looked in the cage, I saw an ape and he was holding a small box. It seemed like a good place to hide something, so I figured I needed to get it.
Well, that shouldn't have been too tough, seeing as how your thought processes aren't that far apart on the evolutionary scale.
What do you mean by that?
My point exactly, monkey boy.
This must be an animal control device. Of course, we laymen call it a pole. Monkey, look what I got for you. Huh? Nice, huh? You want a banana, huh? Here you go. That's it, that's it. Go on, monkey. Good. It's good, isn't it? That's it. That's good, that's good. Good, good, good. Good. Oh, is the monkey tired? Oh, look at the poor dumb monkey. As soon as I stepped into the radiation chamber, the door sealed behind me, and I immediately heard a somewhat disturbing computer message.
Radiation at level 1.
Someone had taken a laser blade to the emergency override panel.
So it was a trap. Was it meant for you?
Well, it could have been. Or maybe Val Davis, but then she died before she had a chance to fall into it. Either way, I had to find a way to repair the circuit board before time ran out. Fortunately, I brought along that circuit conductor kit I found in Linsky's warehouse.
Radiation at level 2.
Oh boy, this is bad. Someone slashed the connections. If I don't find a way to connect 2 horizontal terminals and 2 vertical terminals, I'm gonna get microwaved into an early grave. Pass card reader's hooked up. Now I'll need to scan the pass card. A magnification of Val Davis's pass card appeared on screen. QXD7 was written in tiny characters on the card. It had to be the chess move the mysterious informant had told me to find. Looks like an old-fashioned telegram. Who would send one of these instead of a fax or an email? Sonny's telegram had mentioned someone named Slade. I had a hunch that it was the name of the man who'd killed Bosworth Clark, but I wouldn't know for certain until I talked to Sonny.
Maria, sé que voy a morir desde cielo.
Come in.
Me falta tu sonrisa.
Sonny, ¿qué pasa, hombre?
Adelante.
Compadre, I didn't expect to see you looking so good.
Murphy, I've come face to face with my demon.
Slade, what happened?
In the depths of my despair, I had a vision of redemption. I realized I couldn't pass on without confronting what I feared most in life. Slade. I tracked him to his lodge. I broke in. I'm still a good detective.
So was Slade there?
No. Not at first.
So what happened?
I had to take something from him. Something important. Nothing could replace Maria. I found something, Murphy. I know it's important because it was hidden. Here.
God, you are hurt. I've got to get you to the hospital.
No, there's no need. I've had my last drink, amigo. Maybe not. Maybe there's time for one more.
Uno más.
Salute. No. Pour one for yourself.
I'm not really a drinker.
For old time.
All right. So what happened when Slade got back? Salute, hombre. At least he was able to die in peace.
I didn't know it was going to be such a sad story. Who killed Sonny? Was it Slade?
Must have been. Though I never did find out for sure. After Sonny's last drink, I took a look around his place, hoping to find something that would lead me to the man who'd killed him and Clark. On a scrap of paper by the phone, Sonny had scrawled the name Big Jim Slade and the words Big Surf Lodge, along with an address.
You didn't go to the Big Surf Lodge alone, did you?
What? You think I was scared? Just because he was some kind of hitman? I eat guys like him as an appetizer.
Okay, so was he there? Did you confront him?
Well, no. Even back then, I wasn't a complete moron. I didn't want to fight him, I just wanted to find out who he was and what he was doing.
So what happened?
Well, I found the place and went around back. Through a window, I could see a briefcase on the bed, which I decided I just had to have. It sounded like he was in the shower, which would give me a good chance to snatch the briefcase, but first I had to figure out how to unlock the back door. Is that a key I see on the counter? If I can figure out a way to reach it, it might be my ticket inside. As long as the shower's running, I should be free to look around. I just have to be careful to leave things the way I find them, and have a hiding place picked out in case Slade makes a surprise appearance. What? No license to kill? Slade's briefcase is handcuffed to the bed. He obviously isn't taking any chances on losing it. Of course, that just reaffirms. Slade will probably notice if I take. Slade comes out to answer that phone and sees me, I'm...
Slade here. Yeah, took her number 6. One of my lucky numbers. Enjoyed that one. No problem. Pick up orders at the same drop point. I'm gonna make something to eat first. There's been a slight problem with that. An old acquaintance of mine decided to make some trouble for me. Don't worry. I know how to find him. It'll just be a slight delay. And this time I won't let him get away. I said, don't worry.
So he had already killed 6 people? Who were the others?
Well, that's what I wanted to know. I also wanted to find out about the drop point where he was supposed to pick up his next orders. I decided if I could get there first, I could probably find out a lot about what was going on. Uh-oh. Sounds like Slade's headed this way. As soon as I unlocked the handcuffs, I scooted on out of there. I didn't even look at the briefcase until I was a good safe distance away.
Did you, keep the handcuffs?
No, I didn't know how to use them back then. Anyway, what I did know was that I had to work quickly. When Slade realized what I'd done, there was going to be hell to pay, and I'd probably be stuck with the tab. I guess Slade's gambling includes more than roulette. These must be his lucky numbers. It's a post office key, but there's no number on it. That makes this a real needle in the haystack. This is the pass card Sonny Fletcher stole from Slade. I'm willing to bet this chart is packed full of hidden messages, but I need something else to find them. Chloral hydrate. We PIs refer to this stuff as a Mickey Finn. A few drops in a drink and the lights go out. Gideon's Bible. Wonder if Jay Saint makes a royalty off these things. This thing has anagram written all over it. Well, I mean, not literally. These letters and numbers must refer to Bible passages. I saw this thing in my book of secret codes. It's called a grill. Now I just need to find the chart that goes underneath it. Now I just need to find out which post office. Unless I'm way off base, this is a hit list, and Slade's planning on taking out all these people. Hold on. There's a highlighted letter in each of the names. If I line them up, it spells Mill Valley. Maybe the post office key goes to box 969 at the Mill Valley Post Office. Now that I knew the location of the drop point, I drove like a maniac to the Mill Valley Post Office. I kept my eyes peeled, but either Slade hadn't used this place as a drop point before, or he was elsewhere looking for something to kill. I didn't want to take any chances, though, so I hurried inside and found box 969. There were 2 items in the post office box: a level 1 pass card for access into the Law and Order Party headquarters, and what had to be Slade's new orders. Unfortunately, I didn't have any way to decode them, not yet at any rate. I remembered that Sylvia had mentioned going out that night. Since I knew her name was on Slade's hit list, it might be a good idea to keep her under wraps for a while.
I'm so sorry. I got so wrapped up in your story that I completely lost track of time.
Well, I've been told I have that effect on women. Some sort of hypnotic power.
Whatever you say, sweetie. But seriously, we really have to hurry. It's not easy getting reservations at the Golden Pagoda.
Well, as you know, I take the driving laws very seriously, so excessive speed is really out of the question. However, I know a shortcut.
This isn't the way home. Where are you taking me?
Found out some information just before I picked you up for dinner.
That you're falling madly in love with me?
I have reason to believe you're in the same danger your father was.
Why?
Well, I'm not sure exactly, but I'm checking into it. Regardless, I'm really nervous about your safety, and I think you ought to stay at the warehouse where your father was working.
But nothing's happened to me.
That doesn't mean nothing will. Besides, it reflects very poorly on me if my clients get bumped off during a case.
Plus, I couldn't pay you if I were dead, huh?
Now, that's a very good point.
You're such a tough guy. Okay. I'll lay low for a few days if you want me to. But only because I don't want you to worry.
There's one.
Hydrant.
There's one.
Handicapped. Actually, I think you could make a case for that one.
Oh, that is very funny. Right there, right in front of the restaurant.
Okay.
Told you.
Tex, tell me the rest of the story.
Well, after I took Sylvia back to the warehouse, I decided to go over the law and order party. Well, it was after midnight, so I figured nobody'd be around. I could ransack the place. Unfortunately, I was wrong.
Excuse me, sir, but this premises has been secured for the evening. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave immediately.
Sheesh, I'm late again, aren't I? Missed the whole rally. Do you have any beer left?
Okay, wise guy, get your hands up where I can see them.
Come on, I'm just having a little moment with you, okay? Is that thing loaded?
In my line of work, security is no laughing matter. Let's see some ID.
Okay, pal, listen up, because I'm only gonna say this once. I've been hired by the Law and Order Party to do a few jobs, so I don't need ID. So you just back up and nobody's gonna get hurt.
Look, mister, I'm not looking for any trouble. But I want to hold on to my job. I won't call you in, but I need to log in the ID number off the access badge you used to get in here.
Hey, man, I was just following orders. I was told to use this pass card to get in.
We all got orders. It'll take just a second to write down this badge number. There's coffee if you like. What the hell are you doing?
Contact problem. Got it on again, though. Once the coffee was spiked, I figured I should find a logical place to hide and wait for the Mickey to work its magic. Now that the night watchman was taking a nap, my first priority was to decode Slade's orders. I needed to find some kind of cipher with a lot of letters on it, and it had to be somewhere inside Law and Order. Another coded message. I've seen this type before. I need to find a reference document and count the letters in it. Unfortunately, I have no idea which document to use, though I'm guessing it's something related to the Law and Order party. I'll need to find a little something before I can open this. Well, I guess Robert Knott isn't behind the hit list. He's on top of it. Slade's not going to get this message, but that'll only be temporary. If I can find Knott and warn him off, maybe he'll tell me what's going on here. Sync seems pretty standard. Well, someone around here is a heavy coffee drinker, and I'm betting it's our night watchman. Probably has to keep sipping it all night to stay awake. Oh, and I forgot to ask him whether he wanted 1 lump or 2 with his coffee. There must be hidden cameras in all the rooms. This could be a problem with a conscious security guard hanging around. This door's locked. As soon as I entered Robert Knott's office, I heard the familiar beeping sound coming from a panel on the wall by the door. It was an alarm countdown. Even with the night watchman knocked out, I figured setting off an alarm would not be good. Well, Mr. Knott seems to have a long, pointy thing fetish. This lizard painting seems inconsistent with Knott's interior decorating motif. Maybe it's his favorite thing to skewer. Something tells me I should crack this thing. Maybe there's a clue to the combination somewhere around here. I wonder what's at this address. Maybe it's where Robert Knott's hiding out. Yeah, and maybe I'm the Queen of England. But I guess it'd be stupid not to check it out. These look like they just might open. Looks like Robert Knott was doing some checking up on John Klaus. Interesting. Doesn't look like Knott has much use for his computer. It's not even plugged in. Oh, I'm sure he's read all these books. Oh, first edition. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I'm still holding out for the movie. Well, I wonder what kind of birdie this is. A finch, maybe. If I ever find Mr. Knott, I'm gonna make a point of asking him about his little fixation. A Law and Order ID badge. This was probably left here to give Slade access into party headquarters, though I'm guessing it might work for me just as well. Now, this telephone's perfect for the man who's just gotta go. Well, I doubt this towel's been sanitized for my protection. This doesn't look like any name I've seen in a Rolodex. Maybe it's a code. I guess I should play with it a bit. Whatever's on this disc can't be good for the Law and Order party. Maybe this explains why Robert Knott's on the chopping block. I'll bet Wanda would do just about anything for this little tortilla. These double doors lead into a large room, maybe a reception area. Locked. I'll need the Law and Order ID badge in order to open this door. That mystery address turned out to be a seedy-looking tavern on the waterfront. Even had a condemned sign plastered across the front door.
Well, you should have felt right at home.
Oh, that's funny. But what happened next wasn't. Despite a clear warning from my spider sense, I walked around back and found an open door. Finally regained consciousness. It felt like I'd been trying to drink my own body weight in cheap gin.
It sounds terrible. Oh, bando for 2.
Thank you. May I check your coat?
You know, I think I'll keep it, thank you.
Okay.
Is it less than $3? Oh, that's all right. That wasn't the worst of it, though. I had this ripping pain inside my head. I mean, I was munching ibuprofen tablets like they were Reese's Pieces. That didn't stop the blinding light I was getting behind my eyes or the pain I had in my head.
Did you see a doctor?
No, just the light flashes, actually.
Come, I'll take you to your seats.
Oh, thank you.
Here are your seats. We'll have to prepare another table for you since you were late this evening. Can I get your drink?
I don't think so. Why don't we just wait?
Certainly.
Oh, this must be the penalty box.
So, finish telling me about Linsky.
Okay. Well, the thought occurred to me that Carl Linsky might have gone through the same thing I was going through. I mean, you remember I told you he had that little scar on the back of his neck? Well, it wasn't so hard for me to envision jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge just to get away from the pain.
What had they done to you?
Well, I had no idea other than I got beat up really good. I didn't realize at the time the clock was ticking and that I had less than 48 hours to live.
What did you do?
Well, I was only halfway up a long series of steps. The next one was to find Robert Knott because he and I were on the same sinking ship together. Feeling like my skull was full of razor blades, I found a pay vid phone and tried Wanda Peck again. This time she answered. I told her I had something she'd want to see, so she agreed to meet me at the Capricorn building.
It was so important that you wanted to meet me after hours.
I've got something that might interest even you.
I'm listening.
This disc is from Robert Knott's office.
How'd you get that?
Off the record, I stole it. Robert Knott's fallen out of favor with the Law and Order Party, and for all I know, he could be dead. But if he's alive, I want to know where he is.
Well, off the record, I know Robert personally. I like him. I don't know where he is, but I can give you the best guess I have. He owns a cabin up north, which no one knows about. Well, almost no one. I'll give you directions. Wait here.
So Wanda gave me the direction to Robert Knott's cabin. I wanted to leave right away, but I was too beat. Went back to the office and I slept for a while.
Where was the cabin?
It was up north, way out in the woods. In fact, I didn't even find it until after dark.
Well, was he there?
No, but I could tell someone had been there recently. I got inside and started looking around for something that might tell me where Knott was hiding out. I figured if I warned him about Slade, he might tell me what the hell was going on with law and order. Lights were on inside the cabin. I knocked on the door, but there was no answer, so I let myself in. It's a metal box. Unless this is what Knott feeds his piranhas, I'm willing to bet there's something valuable in it. Now, how do I get it without having my arm eaten off? Like the stone said, wild horses couldn't drag me away. From ransacking the cabin, that is. Nothing nicer than a relaxing evening in front of the fire with a jug of hooch at your elbow. Nothing touches my artistic soul like stick figures etched on a flap of animal skin. This is really kind of gruesome when you think about it. A bottle of salsa alegre, a tortilla chip's best friend. A mini torch. There's gotta be some way I can use this. Water purifying hose made of a sturdy space-age metal. Now, this hose is screwed down pretty tight. I need to find some sort of You could light a cigarette from across the table with this baby. Robert Knott's top-level ID badge. This might give me access to someplace special in Law and Order Party headquarters. This must be the back door. No need to check out the yard. I'll need to find a little something before I can open this. This quilt makes me want to find a bunch of hubcaps and have a game of super checkers. Looks like a deflated life raft or something.
Sounds like you'd worked with blow-up dolls before.
Hey, I have never been that lonely. But at the time, I had no one else to turn to. Well, I wasn't expecting any company, but as long as you're here.
What the hell's going on here?
Whoa. Listen, don't shoot the messenger, okay? I came to warn you. Somebody wants you dead.
Tell me something I don't know.
Well, as you may or may not know, a lot of people have been dying lately of self-inflicted and/or accidental causes. And you and I just might be next in line.
Anything else?
Wanda Peck wants to know why your head's on the chopping block.
So who the hell are you? And what's your relationship to Wanda Peck?
Well, there's a rat's nest at Law and Order Party. And for different reasons, we both want to find it.
You don't say. Well, that makes 3 of us.
You really think you're safe here?
It's as good a place as any. Doesn't really matter anyway. They're gonna find me sooner or later. Actually, my own death is not exactly high on my wish list of things I'd like to happen to me. But I'll tell you one thing. They know I'm not gonna give up without a fight.
So tell me something if you don't mind. But how does someone go from being the Law and Order Party candidate to the top of their things to kill list?
A candidate is sugar coating on a pill. The party sets an agenda, and all I do is try to make it a little easier for the public to swallow.
What's Law and Order trying to force feed us?
What'd you say your name was?
Murphy. Tex Murphy.
Well, you gotta believe what I'm gonna tell you, Tex.
Why not? I'm pretty gullible.
Law and Order has this plan. They're gonna put implants into everybody. It's gonna allow them to identify, track, and eventually control the whole population.
They really believe they could get away with that?
They know it.
Listen, maybe you can answer something that's really bothering me. If Law and Order is so powerful, why are they going around killing everybody?
Call. Greg Call. They're trying to kill anyone who has ties to him. He used to work for Gideon Enterprises.
Well, how about I go talk to Frank Shimming?
Shimming? Oh, he's squarely in the camp of law and order.
Well, maybe he's behind this whole thing. I mean, Shimming could be the Overlord.
You know about Overlord, too?
At this point, I started to smell gas.
Let me guess. You grabbed a couple of chili dogs for the flight up.
Not that kind. One of the bullets had hit the stove. Now the whole cabin was being flooded with gas. Who are those guys? Probably a hit squad. Looks like they accomplished their task. Now it took a couple of slugs before he hit the floor. Hey, I've got a proposition for you. A girlfriend would like to meet you.
Show us the girl.
Hi, boys. Come on in, let's have a party. I got s'mores.
Okay, we're coming in.
I love hunters.
I gotta figure out a way to get out of here. Quickly.
It's just a rubber doll.
Well, I had a few singed hairs, but I was okay. Little did I know, things were about to really heat up.
Ooh, it sounds like Sylvia's about to make another appearance.
That's a good guess. After I got out of Knott's Inferno, I decided to fly back to Linsky's warehouse, check up on my client.
But she wasn't there.
Have I told you this part of the story before?
Oh, no, it's just that, well, I know how women work.
Well, that makes one of us anyway. So she's not at the warehouse. I fly over to her apartment. She's not there either. So I get in my speeder. I fly back to my office. I walk in the door.
And she's waiting for you.
Yeah.
Probably wearing something very nice.
To tell you the truth, I did not even notice.
Oh, of course not. So then she says, "Hello, handsome."
Needless to say, I was very, very upset with her. I thought we agreed that you would stay at the warehouse.
I know, but I started worrying something would happen to you. I don't feel very comfortable about being alone right now.
Sylvia, this thing is dangerous, and I don't think you realize how dangerous it is.
Well, tell me. I'm paying your tab after all.
Yeah, sure, bring business into this.
Well, that's what it is, isn't it? Am I not just a client? There were plenty before me, and there will be plenty after me.
That's what I tell myself.
What do you mean by that?
You know what I mean by that.
Tell me.
There's this thing. It's called the rules of a PI. And the number one rule is, don't fall for a client.
That wouldn't happen, would it?
Yeah, well, I'm holding you personally responsible for making me even think twice about it.
I feel so guilty.
Yeah, well, you should.
So tell me, are there any rules about kissing a client?
That falls squarely under Rule 1.
The rule that you're thinking twice about. So break a rule. How many rules are there?
37 so far.
So 36 out of 37, that's not so bad. And I won't tell a soul.
Sounds like you were just about ready to go into the deep fryer.
No, it's more like a quick sear, followed by a slow simmer. Listen, Sylvia, it has been an incredibly long day, and my resistance is just about 0. So if you will take 10 paces back, promise to quit smelling so good. I promise you that when this is over, look into the possibility. We got a deal.
Okay, I'll be good. But I'll hold you to that promise.
I've got a cot in the other room. You take that and I'll sleep here.
Sweet dreams.
That's not gonna be hard.
Do you miss her?
Oh, yeah. This again. You know, as soon as I lose some weight, I think I'm gonna get rid of it. I don't think I need to be reminded anymore. No, I don't think I do.
Good. Because I'm very selfish, you know.
That's one of the things that really attracts me to you.
Boy, that makes me happy to hear it. So now that you've described to me just about every temptation a man can stand, what happens next?
Nothing happened? Nothing happened, okay? Actually, I flew Sylvia back to the warehouse.
Good.
I thought you'd like that part. I went back to the office and I had a call.
You find the chess move?
I did. It was in the design of Val Davis's pass card. Look, I'm ready to meet with you. Just tell me when and where.
It isn't safe yet, but I have another lead for you. Find out about Greg Call.
Who's Greg Call?
He was the lead programmer on the STG project. He knew about Overlord.
Well, how do I find him? Greg Call. Overlord. Either one.
Call is dead.
Oh, that's gonna make him easy to find.
Call suspected that someone on the inside was selling out the STG project. For that reason, he relocated to a secret base of operation. If you find that, all your questions will be answered.
Any hints on how I'm supposed to do that?
The police were warned that Call might turn up dead. They may have found something that could lead you to where he was working. Oh, I gotta go.
So Greg Call was the head of the SDG project.
Yeah, but he was the dead head.
So now you went back to see Detective Clements, right?
Good guess.
You seem to think I'm some sort of street informant. I'm gonna start charging you for these consultations.
You know, you've been so very good to me. I think I'm gonna do you a favor. I know where Big Jim Slade is.
If you're on the level, I'll trade you any information you want.
Done. Slade's at the Big Surf Lodge, number 6. It's off the Pacific Coast Highway, just north of Big Sur.
Never heard of it. Never heard of him. I don't have a... How do you find out about these people? He died a few days ago. We would have chalked it up to natural causes. An aneurysm, maybe. Except we got an anonymous tip through 911 the day before he died. Tips just said that if he died, we should perform an autopsy. It only turned up one unusual thing. A small capsule planted under the skin. Inside was a plastic tag with markings on it. We couldn't make heads or tails of it. Maybe you should give it a try. He's a hitman for hire, and he's on Interpol's 10 Most Wanted. If you're mixed up with him, I'd make sure your affairs are in order. Seems like a decent guy for a politician. I'll probably vote for him. I know he's a billionaire and runs Gideon Enterprises, but that's about it. I've heard of it, but I don't have any privileged information about it. Never heard of him. I don't have a lot of time to waste, Murphy. Never heard of him. She was a professor at USF. Died in a speeder wreck a couple of weeks ago. I guess you're gonna tell me it wasn't an accident, right? You've got quite an imagination.